to keep that standard of racing. Johnny Tapp, the favourite, marooned. He's held in very high regard by Robert Sangster.
Yes, and by plenty of other people too, Ian. He's without a doubt the best horse that Mr Sangster has imported to Australia. He won a Melbourne Cup, don't forget, with Belledale Ball a few years back. I don't think there's much doubt Marooned is a better horse than Belledale Ball, mainly because he's capable of producing a real sprint at the end of these long-distance races, as he did in winning the Chairman's Handicap last Saturday. If ever a horse has beaten the handicapper, it's Marooned. When he first came to Australia, he'd won only 2 ordinary races in Great Britain. One of them, in fact, was an Apprentices' Cup at Ascot. And when the weights came out for the Sydney Cup in early March, the handicapper couldn't really give him any more than what he's given him, 49.5 kilos, because that's all he was entitled to. Now, Brian Mayfield-Smith had been studying the calendar, and he very adroitly and very carefully picked a couple of races to run him in leading up to this Sydney Cup, namely the Mannion Cup at Rose Hill and the Chairman's Handicap at Randwick. You guessed it, both penalty-free races. So here we have a horse who's peaked on the right day with a featherweight on his back. I know he'll need a little bit of luck with 18 runners, but Jim Cassidy is in terrific form at the moment. No jockey in Australia is riding any better. Ray, I don't often make statements like this, but I've got to use an old adage. I reckon he's got to fall over to get beaten.
Well, John, that's the opinion of nearly everyone at Randwick this afternoon. I've just spoken to a number of bookmakers, including Roger Manning. They took the 5-4 on and now Marooned in the ring into 13-8 on. And a short time ago, I spoke to the owner, Mr. Robert Sangster. He's leaving for the Isle of Man this afternoon, and he said he'll be celebrating tomorrow or Sunday, English time, about the win of Marooned. So certainly he's got plenty of confidence as well. Late show at 25-1, won the race last year. 33s in the ring. Samazan, the well-performed New Zealander, has won over the 2 miles, 16-1. Secure Deposit at 16-1. Fox Seal won the Brisbane Cup at 9-1. Mlock 40s. Astral in 30s. Al Sophia, John, she looks in great order. She's 11-1. Duanet's Girl at 20s. Great Estate at 200-1. Joel, another Kiwi, at 80-1. Puckle Harbour at 100-1. Silver Award 20s, out the 33s in the ring. Scruples, the Tasmanian, at 100-1. Marooned 5-4 on the tote. As I said, in the ring around 13-8 on. Reckless Tradition at 40-1. The 3 3-year-olds, Karma Cruise, the shortest of them, at 14-1. Panama Jack at 80-1, and Saxon White, the bottom one, at 200-1. Well, Tappy, I know Maroon's your selection, and I think a lot of people agree with you. The horse would just about have to fall over to get beaten in the 1986 Sydney Cup.
OK, Ray, I've put Fox Seal in as my second pick. He ran a great trial for the Sydney Cup when he rattled home to get 4th in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes the other day behind Trish Stark. Well, the man who knows Maroon better than most is jockey Jay Cassidy, and Ray caught up with him earlier.
Well, Jim, everyone's saying he's beaten the handicapper. It's got to be the case.
Yeah, he's thrown into the race, Ray. He's, you know, his form leading up to the Cup has been outstanding, and, you know, he's in with a featherweight.
Yourself and Brian Mayfield-Smith have been placed under tremendous pressure this week, mainly due to some reports regarding the horse's fitness, and in fact he had to pass a fitness test this morning. Well,
it's a thing that sort of hasn't really worried me, Ray. I've had more on my plate than worry about whether the horse is sore or not. I know he hasn't been sore at all. You know, he come through a fitness test good as gold this morning. I never had any worries about it this morning, and you know, whether he wins the Cup or not, he'll go around 100% fit.
Brian said on a radio interview this morning that his only major concern was the fact that the horse got a good run in transit from barrier 4. You don't look to have any problems in that regard.
Well, that's the only thing, Ray. I think, to me, it's the only thing that could probably beat him in the race is bad luck in the running, but he's probably going to race in the first 7 or 8, so you're sort of halfway out of trouble racing in the first half dozen anyway.
The pattern of racing on Oaks Day was horses coming down the outside. That's part of the track seemed to be much better. Will you be having a look in the first couple of races today to see exactly where the surface is better?
Yeah, I'll have a good of a scout round early on. I've got a couple about 4 rides before the Cup, so I'll get a good line on the track leading up to the race.
Good on you, Jim, and good luck on Marooned in the Sydney Cup for 1986. Jim Cassidy has carried all before him in the last 5 or 6 months in both Sydney and Melbourne, and he's put together an enviable collection of big race wins. He won the Caulfield Guineas on Drawn, he won the Victoria Derby on Handy Proverb, and of course during the Sydney Autumn Carnival he's made a clean sweep of it, winning all of those big ones at Rose Hill, the Rawson Stakes, the Orlando Classic, the Manuan Cup, and goodness knows what else. He won the Penfolds Classic recently at Newcastle. He just can't do a thing wrong. He was placed on Heat of the Moment in the Doncaster, and he was placed on Handy Proverb in the Derby. So if Maroon can win the Sydney Cup, it'll round off a colossal and freakish winning sequence being enjoyed by this young expatriate New Zealander, who at 23 years of age is one of the most gifted jockeys we've seen in a long, long time. In fact, it's frightening to think that he's been able to do it at 23 years of age. Jockeys generally reach the absolute pinnacle of their form in their early 30s, and it's frightening to think what he's going to be like with 10 years experience under his belt. Now, Amlock, Samasan and Astralin all race in rather similar colours, and three sets of colours that you've just got to be a little bit careful with in running. Again, we say good afternoon and a big welcome to viewers in New Zealand who have a huge representation in the Sydney Cup. New Zealand-bred horses include Samasan, Secured Deposit, and Kiwi viewers, I can tell you that no horse is feeling better on the day than Secured Deposit, who pig-rooted a dozen times in the enclosure before coming onto the track. Fox Seal is a New Zealand bred, so is Amlock, so is Astralin, so is our Sophia. Dwanet's Girl, Great Estate, and on and on and on. Joel, Puckle Harbour. In fact, it's good to see an Aussie. Silver Award, Scruples, a Tasmanian. In the Sydney Cup last year, we had the amazing situation where there was only one Australian-bred horse in the field, and it turned out to be the winner, Late Show. All set. 2 miles, off and running in the Sydney Cup of 86, and Puckle Harbour towards the outside, won the start, beginning smartly, Late Show, and getting into a good spot, the little mare, Dwanet's Girl, followed by Secured Deposit, Karma Cruise, and then Saxon White. Marooned is right behind the leading pack on settling down, and Joel is getting up along the inside of Amlock, followed by our Sophia, dropping back a little now, and then the Tasmanian Scruples, followed by Fox Seal, Reckless Tradition. Late Show, after beginning well, is allowed to drift back to be in front of about 4 horses, and they include Samasan, Silver Award, Panama Jack, and Astralin as last as the cup field comes around the turn the first time, where the pace is very slow. And it's Dwanet's Girl in front, Secured Deposit second, running third, Great Estate on the inside of Saxon White, Joel on the rail, Marooned in the centre, out 3 deep as Puckle Harbour, on the fence our Sophia on the inside of Amlock as they head down the home stretch the first time. Karma Cruise on the outside of Scruples, a length and a half to Fox Seal on the outside of Reckless Tradition, a length and a half to Late Show on the outside of Samasan, and then Silver Award and Panama Jack, and last of all is Astralin as they greet the judge with a lap of the track to go. About 2,200 metres out in the cup, and Dwanet's Girl led, 2 on Secured Deposit, a length and a half to Great Estate, followed by Saxon White, Joel, 3 deep Puckle Harbour, Marooned in a beautiful spot, running about 7th, 1 horse off the rail on the outside of our Sophia, a length and a half to Amlock, followed by Karma Cruise, and then Scruples and Silver Award, Fox Seal, Reckless Tradition, Late Show, well back in the field, Astralin starting to make up a little ground, followed by Samasan, and last of all the 3-year-old Panama Jack. 1,800 to go in the Sydney Cup, and Dwanet's Girl led about 2 lengths on Secured Deposit, a length away Saxon White. There goes the grey, Silver Award taking off with a lightning move on the outside. Puckle Harbour behind those, followed closely by Great Estate, Marooned only 5 lengths off the lead, and then Joel, followed by Amlock and our Sophia coming away from the rail now. 2 lengths away to Karma Cruise on the inside of Scruples, followed by Fox Seal, Late Show, Reckless Tradition, Astralin, and then Samasan, and back at the tail of the field, Panama Jack. 1,400 out in the back straight. A new leader now, Silver Award, took over the running. Moving into second place, Saxon White, followed by Secured Deposit on the outside of Dwanet's Girl. At the head of the others then is Puckle Harbour, followed by Marooned. In on the rail, Great Estate. Further back is Amlock and our Sophia between horses, and then Joel, Fox Seal, Karma Cruise, Astralin. Well back in the field, Late Show with Panama Jack, and then Samasan and Reckless Tradition, and the cup field is very tightly packed as they go around that top corner. About 900 metres out now. A great race for the lead. Silver Award, Secured Deposit, Saxon White is up there, and so is Amlock, and by crikey, it's a race and a half. Dwanet's Girl is next on the inside of Marooned. Marooned is cluttered up now as they near the home turn. Off the track, Puckle Harbour, moving around the outside, Panama Jack, and going with it, Astralin. Further back is Amlock, followed by Late Show. Fox Seal is well back and very wide as they near the turn, and then Karma Cruise, but around the corner, it's the charge of the Light Brigade. The 3-year-old Saxon White is joined by Secured Deposit. In third place, the Tasmanian Scruples, and here comes Marooned. Marooned on the outside with that big wide blaze has charged up, and Maroon has raced to the lead, coming to the 200 mark. Maroon shot away, getting into second place. Wide out now is Amlock, and our Sophia battling on with Fox Seal, but it's all Maroon. There's a fall. Amlock fell in the straights. Amlock fell. Maroon is clear. Our Sophia and Fox Seal won't pick him up, and Maroon wins the cup. Maroon first, our Sophia second.
third Fox Seal, then Reckless Tradition, followed by Samasan, Secure Deposit, Dwanet's Girl, further back Joel, Late Show, and then Astra Lynn, followed by Puckle Harbour, Silver Award, Karma Cruise, Scruples, who gave a yell in the straight. Saxon White ran a great race at 1,000 to 1. Karma Cruise well back, and then Panama Jack, and Great Estate is one of the last to finish in the Sydney Cup of 86, and in a sensation, 120 metres from home, Amlock crashed heavily to the turf, and the rider has had a very, very heavy tumble, namely Grant Cooksley, who's on the track in the home straight here, and the ambulance attendants are tending Grant Cooksley, and this horse, sadly and tragically, has snapped a foreleg. Another horse jumped over the top of the fallen rider. I think it might have been Samasan, cleared him like a steeplechaser, and miraculously missed that fallen rider. What a win. And, well, on paper, he looked the best thing to ever go around in a major race at Randwick Racecourse, and so it turned out. Number 14, Maroon, the shortest price favourite since Galilee in 1967. On the TAB in New South Wales, 85 and 65, Marooned, a chestnut end tyre, a 5-year-old by the great Mill Reef, out of Short Rations, raced by Swettenham Stud Syndicates, trained by Brian Mayfield Smith, and rounding off an enviable and unforgettable season of racing for jockey Jim Cassidy. Marooned, an easy winner. The great mare, Our Sophia, has run second, ridden by Gary Willits, a bay mare by Noble Bijou out of Melitian, on the place tote, $1.65, and Fox Seal has run third, number 4, ridden by Mick Dittman, trained by Rick Hoare Lacey, by Imperial Seal out of Foxton. He's a great stayer, Fox Seal, on the place tote, $1.15. The numbers on the cup, not up as yet, but they will be 14, 7 and 4, and a rather relieved Jim Cassidy, I would imagine, will shortly bring Maroon back to scale. It's a funny thing, right down through the ages, the long distance races seem to be won by bays or browns, and yet here we've got a flashy chestnut with a white blaze, Ray.
Thank you very much, John, and with me, Mr. Robert Sangster. Sir, congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. I'm very sorry for the horse that fell.
Yeah, Amlock, unfortunately, it looks like it snapped an off foreleg, and the jockey's okay, the latest word, but, well, that's sad news for them, but great news for you. Marooned, a magnificent effort.
Yeah. No, he rode a great race. I thought he may have come a bit too soon, but no, he rode a good race.
Here's your lovely wife leading that horse back in now to scale, and a great reception. It's a long time since we've seen a horse so well supported and such a lot of confidence about it. We've got to go back to Galilee, and I guess this horse will be spelled now and set for the Melbourne Cup.
He did very well on 3 legs, I think.
Congratulations to you, Mr. Sangster. Yes, Mr. Sangster referring to reports that the horse, in fact, had a sore leg, and Mr. Shrek, the chief steward, asking me to get out of the way as the horse returns to the enclosure. Back to you, Tappy, a great win.
Sure was, Ray, and, well, Jim Cassidy, I don't know if he gets a butterfly or two, maybe he has no nerves, but he went into that race with an enormous responsibility, really, for a young jockey, because Marooned has been front page on every racing and sporting page around Australia for the last week. He's been under this fitness cloud, which Brian Mayfield Smith and Cassidy both refuted, of course, but he's blown it all out the window in one foul swoop. Well, as we said, Ian, he had to fall over to get beaten. He didn't. Sadly, Amlock did. That horse has snapped a foreleg, which takes the gloss off the Sydney Cup, and we'll let you know about the condition of Grant Cooksley a little later.
Thanks there to Johnny.